guys, it's marianakebaso. In today's video, this was requested by a friend of mine to do a video on how I stay organized and basically how I organize everything in my life for school. So if you don't know, I don't really talk about this that much, but I'm a dual enrolled / concurrent enrolled student, so I take high school and college classes. So being organized for me is like a must-have. It's how I keep saying, it's how I have time off. If I'm not organized, I would end up doing all of my assignments like towards the end of the day. So being organized is super important for just me in general because of the classes that I take, and I also have a life outside of school. I have a YouTube channel and I have, family, and I like to make time for friends and going out and eating and sleeping well. So this is how I organize myself to be able to do all of those things at once without taking Adderall. We take a break in our regular scheduled programming to remind you, do not do drugs. I repeat, do not do drugs. Thank you. Bye. So, first off, before we start, organization is super important. It is how you stay sane, and it is how you get A's. Organized people are more likely to have straight A's because they are turning in their work on time. They're doing their work when it's supposed to be because they have an organized schedule, an organized planning system. And it's just important to be organized, and it will help you achieve better grades. So, get organized, get A's. So there's basically two types of planning, and planning is the backbone of organization. So to start off, digital planning. There's a variety of different types of digital planning. There's Google Calendar, there's Apple's Calendar on your Mac or on your phone, there's calendar apps on your phone or your iPad or your Mac that you can download and use for planning. There's a plethora of planning apps that you can use. I'm specifically going to talk about Apple's Mac calendar and the folders on my Mac that I use to help keep me organized in school. So on Apple's Mac calendar, I like it because you can have different events or different types of things. So I can have a color designated to homework or to YouTube or to school assignments or to a specific class. Like I can say brown is going to be Spanish, and this I can put a Spanish assignment in there. I don't really utilize my digital planner, my digital calendar for school stuff as much. I more use my bullet journal for that. My digital planner I use to help me plan out my YouTube videos and the videos that I want to do for Friday's video or in October or for December. I'm constantly planning stuff out ahead of time. It helps keep me organized. So when I'm sitting down to film something, I'm not all over the place being oh, what was I supposed to film today? It's all there in my calendar, and I like that I can tweak it, I can move videos around, I can just rearrange it and organize it to fit my needs at the time. So now I know this is Apple's calendar, so Google Calendar is the most similar to Apple's calendar, except you can use it on all devices. I know a lot of people with Apple MacBooks still prefer using Google Calendar. I tried to use it and I just didn't really love the format, and I also don't like that when you don't have Wi-Fi you cannot access it, which is not the case for Apple's calendar. If you don't have Wi-Fi, you can still access your calendar. I just don't know whether it will save any changes that you make when you don't have Wi-Fi, but you can still access it, while that is not the case for Google Calendar, at least as far to my knowledge. So next we're going to go into, I have a folder on my computer for school, and in this folder I have all my syllabi, I have all of my assignments that I think are important and need to be kept. I have any notes slideshow presentations that the teacher wants us to do, and I have these all in a folder just so that they are in one place, and if I ever need anything school related, I know that it's going to be in that folder, so that way I'm not going through all of my downloads and all of my recents and all of my documents to find the specific thing that I need. I know I can just go to a specific folder to find what I need. This is kind of related to digital planning, but not really. But to stay organized, it's important that you're checking your grades often and constantly, just to see, maybe a teacher put in a wrong grade. You can go talk to them about it. Maybe you got a 0 on an assignment even though you turned it in. You can talk about it. But if you're not checking your grades constantly, you will not know to ask your teacher about it until it's too late and the teacher's well, that assignment was done months ago, But if a teacher just put in a grade, you can go talk to them about it and have it fixed so that your grade is as up to date as possible. As the teacher is putting in grades, your grade is up to what it should be, if that makes sense. So the next thing I do in terms of digital realm, which I don't know why this is not normal, or not a lot of people do it, I guess, but basically after school or on any day, if I have any assignments due, I will pull up every single assignment that is due on my computer. So if I have Spanish work, I have notes that I need to take, I have an English assignment, I have medical terminology lectures that I need to listen to, I will pull everything up on my computer. Once I have pulled everything up, then I will start at one tab. Usually I start at the easiest assignment to do. Sometimes I start at the hardest, it doesn't really matter, but you can choose which one. Some people prefer doing the harder assignment first, so you just get it done over with. Sometimes I prefer doing the easier assignment first, just because it'll be quick and easy and it'll be something that I can accomplish in a short amount of time. But once then that assignment is done, then I just go through each of the tabs that I've opened and complete the assignment. So usually I'll have like 3 or 4 tabs open and just completing the assignments as the tabs go. And once I finish, I close the tabs. I don't know why this isn't something normalized, I guess, but it really just helps keep me in check, because sometimes I will complete one assignment and then I will forget that I have any other assignments because they are not right in front of me. They're not in front of my eyes, so I can't see them. So I end up forgetting to do them until like 11 o'clock at night. So to stop this from happening, I just pull up all the assignments at once and then sit down, and I can do one assignment, go take a break, come back, do another assignment, and so on and so forth. That is super helpful. And I also like to utilize the split screen option on my computer. It's not really an option, I just do it for myself. So if I'm working on an assignment in which I will need to reference something else, I will usually have multiple screens open. So for instance, if I'm working on something in Google Docs, but I also need to reference a Word document or the PDF attachment of the reading or something like that, then I will just shorten both of the screens so that I can have them side by side and be able to work simultaneously without having to take off one thing, if that makes sense. I will show you guys on the screen though. And that's what I do so that I don't have to keep on clicking back and forth between tabs or clicking back and forth between browsers or different apps or anything. They're just both on the same page at the same time. So now we're going to go into my paper planning. So I use my trusty old bullet journal for all of my paper planning needs. If you haven't watched my bullet journal video, you should. I set up this bullet journal in a video. This is a Scribbles That Matter journal. It is very good. I highly recommend it to anyone who's looking into getting into bullet journaling. They're about $20, so they're pretty affordable. But anyways, this is not a bullet journaling video. I just wanted to tell you guys that this is how I plan out my time. And I used to do like weekly spreads in my bullet journal, which I will show you guys right now. I used to do like weekly spreads like this, but as I started to start school, I realized that I needed more space, so I do spreads like this. But then I realized that that still wasn't enough space, so I would do spreads like this. And then I realized that this still wasn't enough space for me, so then I started to do spreads like this, in which I have like the whole page just dedicated to one day. And this is a type of, it's basically just a to-do list, except all of them are in one book. So I can reference, like if I have something that I didn't do on Sunday that it still needs to get done, I can just flip back into it. So it's not just like a to-do list, it's kind of different. But I like bullet journaling because you can customize it to yourself, and if something is not working for you, you can change it out. As you can see, I changed from doing a lot of days in one like 2-page layout to only a few days to only one day in a page, and I can change it to fit my needs. So if I realize like by next year I'm not having that many tasks to complete, or in a certain time period or frame I don't have that much to do in general, I can shorten the spread and put more days in a page. So like for instance, during Christmas break, during Thanksgiving break, I can do weekly spreads then, which you can't necessarily do in a paper planner because they are very structured, they're very like boxy, like they're only in a certain way that you can't really change to fit your day-to-day need, which is why I like bullet journaling, because you can use it, you can change it to fit your day-to-day need. But I sometimes use notebooks. I used to use notebooks a lot more for my to-do list. Before I really got into bullet journaling, I would make like a daily to-do, and I would use this just to keep me on track for the day, or on those weeks or days in between bullet journals when I'd like finish one and waiting for my new one to come in. I used to use journals to help me just still have something to plan out my days with and keep me on track. And notebooks are a great alternative if you don't want to invest in a bullet journal, as you can get notebooks as cheap as $1 from Walmart and Target, and just a pen and use it to write out your to-do list. You don't need anything fancy, but it helps keep you organized and on task. So now we're going to get into my general tips for organization. So the first tip I have is to keep track of everything. So no matter whether you're doing digital or paper planning, you need to keep track of everything. And I don't care if you think it's super small, because small things add up. Everything adds up in everything. So if you have an assignment due, whether it's worth 5 points or 100, you need to write it down in your digital planner or your paper planner or a notebook, whatever. Write it down and make sure that it's there and you can see it and you know that it needs to get done. Keeping track of everything will help make sure that you're getting the most out of everything. So if there's a 5-point assignment, because you wrote it down, you get the points for that. And while 5 points might seem like a little, it might be the difference between your grade being a B rather than a C. So the next tip that I have is to use your syllabus, if you have one. This is more for my college students or people who are taking college classes, because I know a lot of high school teachers do not utilize syllabi like college teachers do. But if you are in a college class or you have a teacher who utilizes syllabi, then make sure you use it and just keep track, because basically in a syllabi, if it's a good syllabi, it will show you every single assignment you have, every test you have, every quiz you have, and when it's going to be. So you can plan your time around it and figure out when you need to be working on something, because you know when it's due. Now, syllabi are subject to change, but usually in a college class, they will not change by that much. And most of the time, the assignments will be due like right around the time that they were originally planned to do. So syllabi are important. If you have one, use it. Pull all of the dates in your calendar. If you have a bullet journal, it's kind of hard to plan ahead, which is why I use both my digital calendar and my bullet journal, so that I can put in the dates from my syllabi into my digital calendar and use that so that I know when I have stuff due and when I need to work on it. So the next tip I have is to do everything as soon as you get it. This is for my procrastinators. I kind of am one too. But do everything as soon as you get it. As soon as I get an assignment, even if it's in class and even if the teacher is still kind of explaining it, if I know what to do and I have all the materials to do it, I will start working on it in class as soon as possible. Even if a teacher says it's homework and we can work on it after school and we don't have to work on it now, but she gives us free time, instead of doing my own thing on that free time, I will do the assignment in class and get it done, so that when I'm done with class, I don't have to worry about the assignment and I can have my free time for the rest of the evening, for the rest of the night, and I don't have to worry about, oh, I have my assignment due at 9 p.m. No, I already finished it in class, so I don't have to worry about it. Any assignments that I get in class, I try to work on them as soon as possible, and that gives me about minimal homework, because I try to work on stuff as soon as I get it. Projects, I break them down into parts, meaning that like if I get a project and I know it's due in like a month, I'll start working on it slowly, and usually by like the second week of the project, I'm basically done with it. So then I'm just waiting for the due date or waiting to submit it. Some teachers are nice that they'll break down a project so that you only have to work on like small portions of it. Like they won't just assign you one big project and tell you it's due a month from now, but they will assign little parts of the project and then have the final thing due in a month. But not all teachers do this, so sometimes you have to be the one to, control yourself and tell yourself, I need to get 30 minutes of this done today, just so that I'm not scrambling at last minute to do my work. So the next tip that I have is to plan out your breaks and mealtime. This is super important because, especially if you're like me and you can kind of be somewhat of a workaholic, make sure that you are planning out times when you're taking breaks and you're going to eat and you're going to sleep. You don't need to be working 24/7 to, be organized and get good grades. Just make sure that you're turning in everything on time and doing your work as soon as you get it, and you'll be fine. Planning out meal breaks and breaks in general is super beneficial to your mental health, and it will help your brain to not feel like it's physically going to combust after doing work for 6 hours straight. Don't do that. Make sure that after like 30 minutes to an hour of working, you get up, use the bathroom, wash your hands, go get a snack, go put away your laundry, make your bed, tidy up your workspace, call a friend and talk to them for a little bit. I wouldn't suggest necessarily going on social media because it is very easy to stay there for more than 5 minutes. But if you can control yourself and say that I'm only going to spend 3 minutes on TikTok, then feel free. But if you know that you're gonna spend more than 3 minutes on TikTok, don't go on it. But breaks are important, and breaks are essential to just your general mental well-being. So take breaks. The last thing that I have is to check that all of your assignments are turned in before bed. This tip has saved me so many times, which is why I don't tell everybody, but now that I have a channel, I can tell you guys, check all your assignments before bed. Like, I swear it will not kill you. I don't know how many times I checked my Schoology at 10 p.m. and I realized, oh my goodness, I had this assignment due and I hadn't even worked on it, but because I came back to Schoology and I checked it before I went to sleep, I was able to work on it and submit it before it being late. Now I don't know if this is a thing in all high schools, but in my high school, late work is not accepted by most teachers. If you turn in an assignment late, it's an automatic 0. So turning in assignments on time is like super important if you go to a school like mine, because basically not turning in an assignment on time means that you got a 0 on the assignment. It doesn't mean you got like an 80 or a 90 on the assignment. It means you got a 0 on the assignment. So it's super important that you turn stuff in on time, and the way you do that is making sure you have turned in all your assignments before bed. Sometimes I even see when I go to check my Schoology before bed that I did not submit an assignment even though I finished it. Like, sometimes I'll have the document on my computer, but I just never submitted into Schoology, which is why it's important to check your Schoology or your Google Classroom or Canvas, Blackboard, whatever you use, whatever platform you use, check it before bed. It's going to save your life. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure you leave a like and comment down below. This was a requested video, so I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, subscribe. Also subscribe. I'm on my road to 100. I'm almost there. It's so crazy. I've only been doing YouTube for like 3 months and I'm almost at 100, but if you could subscribe, that would mean the most to me, and you would get to be a part of my little family. And yeah, so if you did like this video, make sure you comment down below. Mint. The word of the day today is mint. I kind of fell off doing this, I don't know, but I'm bringing it back. Mint. Comment down below, mint. And yeah, bye guys.